captured like 150 different things that occurred over that weekend that were significant. On November 4th, we had huge amounts of stuff occur relative to the appearance of economic factors, such as the now widespread article about the tungsten-filled gold, about the sale of U.S. treasuries, and on and on and on and on. And
so that's related to the drop in the dollar.
Correct.
And but what I saw happen was CDC came out and said, "Hey, no big deal with the swine flu," and then you've got Obama saying, "Hey, national emergency."
Right.
That was about October 23rd, I thought. I don't have the date exact, which is very close to your time frame. And then you had Ukraine, this huge outbreak that nobody knows about here in the U.S.
Oh, we know about it. We've reported on it.
I know you know about it, but, you talk to the average guy, they never hear a thing about it. Right.
Okay, Cliff, I think you answered the question. I think your predictions on those dates have been fairly fulfilled. Barry, I want to thank you for the call. Let's go to Mark on line 3 from Texas. Hi, Mark. What's on your mind?
Hello, Cliff.
Yeah, hey, guy.
How you doing?
I'm all dry at the moment. It's dry as can be up here with this cold weather.
I bet. Well, just a couple of things real quickly. My wife would like to know the best place to live. I note that you're in the Northwest, and your buddy George is in East Texas, so that's kind of far apart. So my first question is maybe where's the best place to live if you're going to live in the United States, or should one go to Canada? And secondly, the missile test on the moon recently, supposedly that was looking for water. It was going to, impact the moon. There's going to be a big spew of debris. The satellite was going to go through and analyze the stuff and see if there was water. Could that have been a bunker-busting missile test? And I'll take the answers off the phone. Thank you very much.
Yeah, let's go to that first question that he asked about where the best place to live is, and we got just about 30 seconds before the break.
If you wanted to say best equals potential survival for a pole shift, the odds would tend to favor areas about 7,000 to 10,000 feet in elevation. Beyond that, it's anybody's guess. Mountains rise and fall. I don't get into that. That's a personal karma issue. We're probably all screwed. We're all going to die sooner or later anyway, and it just may be a whole lot sooner than we'd anticipated.
Cliff, you're not giving us much hope here. I mean, what I've read with regard to the pole shift before is that your best chance for survival is near the equator because you'll see less of an impact of the shift.
That's not true because the equatorial bulge, the 13 miles of water that exists at the equator has to shift around the planet before the rest of the continent shifts. So if you're near the equator in those islands, you're going to have tons of disruption as water shifts, continents rise and fall rapidly in that area. The equator is the worst place to be. The equator is just going to be toast. Look at what happens, or why did they put the seed vault where they did, 60 north and deep up near the Arctic Circle? It would have been cheaper to put in the equator. It took them a lot of effort to get that cement and stuff in that cold environment and get it all set up. They know something.
I think survival is a matter of happenstance. Anyway, we're going to come back after the break, and we're going to explore with Cliff something on the McKinnon issue, and we'll bring a wrap to this and talk about perhaps what is our best chance for survivability. Stay tuned, everybody. More with Dave and Andy and our guest Cliff after a word from these sponsors. Thanks for staying with us through the break, everybody. Hi, this is Dave Hodges. I'm joined by my co-host tonight, Andy DeRiso. Andy sent me an email off air and asked me to spare a few moments for the woo-woo. So, Andy, I promise you we'll get to that. And our special guest tonight is Clif, and we're talking about all things pessimistic. And this is rather bleak, but I do think it's information we need to know. And we've got the calls backed up, and we've also got to save the last 15 minutes for a special topic. So let's get right to the calls without further ado. Hi, Charlie. Thanks for calling the show. What's on your mind?
Hi. I think, am I on?
Charlie, you're on. Okay, I should say Charlie from Arizona on line 1. There you go, Charlie. What's your question or comment for Cliff?
Two quick questions. Cliff, you haven't mentioned the new electrics, but recently, or not in any depth, and I just wanted to know there's a bunch of fellows who, I think along these lines you'll find are working on it. I myself personally worked with John Bedini back in the 80s.
Sure, yeah, I know the name, yeah.
And there is something coming, and that's all I'm going to say. The Southwest for purposes of survival. I don't know how familiar you are with the Arizona area, but I've been following things of Gordon, Michael, Skelly, and all the rest of them since the early 90s. And I strategically picked east of the Continental Divide, if you will. I also wanted to mention to people that most people don't even know that the Vatican built an observatory here in Arizona, about 50, 60 miles south of us. I don't believe that they picked that particular spot arbitrarily. I think they know what's going on also. And
I agree with that.
Okay, let's let Cliff respond.
Yes.
Yeah. So with respect to safe areas, and one of the previous callers, I kind of feel I was drawn here. I have no idea why I'm here beyond that. So
I'd go with that personally. The idea of being moved by universe is really the way that you need to run your life at this point. For instance, my entire life has been a series of one boat-building fiasco and boat adventure. So I guess I'm driven that way to attempt to get through all of this. Well, I know people that are like you. They're moved to specific spots.
Well, I've always been drawn to the, well, as you put it, new electrics. And it's been, we're on a timeline right now. And maybe at some point I want to send you a little present. I'll get with you at some further date on that one.
And you can always contact me, yeah.
Yep. Cliff, you can always go up to Half Past Human.
Moon at halfpasthuman.com.
Exactly.
I read all those that come through. Yeah.
Oh, I follow Cliff rigorously now. I was put onto you a while back. So, but anyway, if there's any further information as far as geographical location that you can get out to, I'd like to know. And that's all I have.
Well, we'll all echo that too.
Okay.
Thanks for your call, Charlie. Let's go to Doris on line 2 from Kansas. Hi, Doris. What's on your mind?
Hi.
Hi. You're on the air.
Well, I'm wondering if what Cliff puts out has any relevance to Revelations.
Good
because,
question.
The Lord has, if you read Enoch, it tells how the Lord has control over the stars and the moon and the sun and everything. But I'm wondering, God said that the Christians were not appointed to the wrath of God. And, he does say in Revelations, that the world is going to go through this, what you're accounting, actually.
Yeah, it's going to go through a bad time. Well, let's let Cliff respond to that. Cliff, any relation between what you're forecasting and what the book of Revelation says?
Well, probably, in the sense that, it's all pretty dire stuff as I understand it. So I'm not Christian. That's not my bent or drawing. Universe doesn't move me that way. I've read through the Bible. I've read the Nag Hammadi. I've read some of the source material. I know how the Bible went through the translations and so on. None of our stuff is particularly drawn from that. We recognize that there is that eschaton, the end of times, movement within Christianity, and I pick that up as an archetype, but none of it is driven by Christianity as a religion. So you can, in essence, you can view our stuff as standing independent from that particular lineage. The fact that it may line up is probably just how universe works. Just like frequently a lot of our stuff lines up with astrology, and we don't take any clues from astrology when we're doing our work, and it's coincidental, and it always kind of freaks me out a bit.
Exactly. I mean, there's many roads to the same path.
Correct.
Doris, thanks for the call. Let's go to Ed on line 3 from Saskatchewan. What's on your mind, Ed?
Hello.
Hi, Ed. You got a question for Cliff?
Yeah, I do. I live up here in Saskatchewan in a city of about 200,000 people. And for the last 3 years or 4 years, we've had pretty well a drought. But meanwhile, they're building huge drainage canals all over the place around the city. Is there any forecast of heavy torrential rains coming?
Yes, as a matter of fact. That's a known condition we will face over the next 2 years relative to the climate change that's already baked in the cake, so to speak. So the oscillation that set off the climate change, whether we just won't call it global warming or anything, causes huge amounts of precipitation. And just because you have a long-term drought of 3 or 4 years doesn't mean it isn't going to change in an instant, and you're not going to have to deal with 30 or 40 years worth of rain in a short period of time. Look at what happened to that spot in Taiwan. There was one particular area relative to the monsoon that went through Taiwan that was on the backside in the rain shadow. We have such a thing here in the Puget Sound where the Olympic Mountains block off rain, and Sequim, this little bird, gets all the sun and nice weather, and it can be pouring on the rest of us. But anyway, this place in Taiwan was in the rain shadow, plus it had a drought for over 4 years, and then they got 100 inches of rain in, I want to say, about 30 hours. And it was just, horrific. So they can turn on a dime.
You live near the Olympic Mountains. Is that a safe area to live?
I don't know. See, there's the rub. It's safe as a personal issue relative to you and your karma. I know guys that are are raising money, have money, and they're starting to do things like move to areas where they're within a short period of time, say 15 or 20 or 30 minutes driving, to get to an area that's 10,000 feet or higher. I know people that are putting money into buying tracts of land in the Andes at about 7,000 to 10,000 feet in elevation. The Olympics are a problem here in the United States or any place in the United States, and perhaps a lot in Canada is the same way, that anything 10,000 feet is in a national park, so you can't build a survival bunker there. And it is my understanding from the literature I've read that the last few pole shifts, that just standing out at 10,000 feet, well, you may not get the wave, but you're going to have to deal with the rains, volcanic ash, 200-mile-an-hour winds, all kinds of hellacious conditions that you're better off sheltering from.
Exactly, you better be underground.
Yeah. So there are those issues, and I do indeed know people that are raising money now to build extensive underground shelters for 15 and 20 people at a time in areas that are about 10,000 feet, with the expectation that they'll be able to get there in a short period of time.
Yeah. I have a son living in Victoria, and you can see the Olympic Mountains practically from his yard. It's a beautiful area.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And I've thought, well, if the conditions aren't too horrific and we're only dealing with a giant sea swell, then maybe after it all settles down, that's where I'd aim my boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like Noah's Ark. Ed, thanks for the call. Okay. And Annie, as I promised, let's get to the woo-woo. You have a question for Clif.
Okay, well, it is really woo-woo, but one of the things I've followed since about 65, one of the secrets revealed in the report talks about that ETs have been and are allowed to enslave humans. Where do you go with that one?
Well, there's the rub is that, boy, that whole area is fully opened up. We even have now, we're starting to get some statistical ramifications on the idea that the ET relationships, the UFO sightings over the U.S. have